Inside Golden Odyssey, the 400-foot superyacht that went from secret to for sale. Picture this. You're walking along a Mediterranean harbor, and all the normal superyachts are lined up like luxury toys. Then, at the far end, there's something different. Bigger, higher. A pale-hulled giant, stretching the length of a football field, and then some, sitting so quietly it almost looks fake. That's Golden Odyssey. But here's the twist. This 400-plus foot palace didn't just live a quiet billionaire life. It ended up arrested, sold at auction, and then back on the market again. And there's one brutal number that explains why a yacht like this can go from untouchable to must sell. I'll tell you that number near the end of this video. For now, welcome to Luxury Living Detective. Today we're stepping on board Golden Odyssey, one of Lürssen's most impressive creations. We're going to break down what this yacht actually is, how it's built, how fast it really goes, what life on board feels like, and what kind of money it takes just to keep the lights on. A 123-meter ghost in plain sight. Golden Odyssey is one of those yachts that serious yacht people know well, but casual viewers might have only glimpsed in passing drone shots. Built by Lürssen in Germany and delivered in 2015, she comes in at about 123 meters long, or roughly 404 feet. That's longer than most city blocks, and bigger than a lot of ferries. Her beam is around 18.8 meters, and she draws close to 5 meters of water. On the inside, she has a massive volume of about 7,700 gross tons. In practical terms, that means a ridiculous amount of interior space. Wide corridors, big salons, huge technical areas and service zones, and entire decks that feel more like a boutique hotel than a boat. The hull is steel. The superstructure is aluminum, all wrapped in a soft cream or off-white paint scheme that makes her look calm and understated from a distance. The exterior lines were drawn by Martin Francis, and you can feel that balance. A long, almost vertical bow, big tiered decks aft, and a silhouette that manages to look both muscular and elegant at the same time. Inside, the decor was handled by Alberto Pinto, which already tells you the vibe. This isn't minimalist, bare concrete luxury. It's rich, layered, custom everything. Materials, lighting, finishes, aimed at creating that I'm on a private, floating world feeling from the moment you step on board. The numbers behind the beast. On paper, Golden Odyssey looks less like a toy and more like a piece of commercial hardware that someone decided to turn into a private palace. At full capacity, she can host around 30 guests in roughly 15 staterooms, supported by a crew of about 70 people. That's essentially a small, ultra-luxury hotel staffed 24/7, moving across the ocean. Underneath, she runs on a diesel-electric propulsion system. 2 big MTU diesel engines feed power into electric motors that drive twin propellers. Combined, you're looking at tens of thousands of horsepower, enough to push this 7,690 GT giant to a top speed of around 20 to 21 knots, roughly 23 to 24 miles per hour on the water. Her comfortable cruising speed sits in the mid-teens, and at an economical pace, she can cover roughly 6,500 to 7,000 nautical miles without needing to refuel. That's a full transoceanic range. You could leave the Med, cross to the Caribbean, and keep going without constantly hunting for a fuel dock. To make that possible, Golden Odyssey carries an enormous amount of fuel and fresh water in her tanks, hundreds of thousands of liters. On top of propulsion, the hotel load has to be powered too. Climate control for thousands of square feet of interior, galley equipment, spa systems, entertainment tech, stabilizers, elevators, and all the background machinery that makes the guest areas feel effortless. From a technical point of view, this isn't a big boat. It's a privately owned floating infrastructure project. Life on board. Private resort mode. Specs are impressive, but what really matters for a luxury-obsessed channel like this is simple. What does it feel like to live on Golden Odyssey? Start at the stern, near the waterline, where the yacht opens up into a generous beach club. Wide teak decks, twin staircases down to the swim platform, and big glass doors turning the inside and outside into one continuous space. This is where you launch tenders, step onto jet skis, or just sit on a lounge chair, watching the wake and pretending email doesn't exist anymore. Inside, guest spaces are laid out for long trips with a full group. There are formal salons with big windows and serious dining tables for those everyone put on something nice dinners, and more relaxed lounge areas for late-night conversations, game nights, or just stretching out with a movie while the yacht hums along at cruising speed. Up top, there's an owner's deck that is basically its own universe. Private indoor lounges, terraces, spa-style spaces, even hammam and steam facilities on some configurations. When you're on that level, the rest of the yacht almost disappears. It feels like your own penthouse at sea, with the bonus detail that when you open the curtains, you're somewhere new. Higher still, you get sun decks and open viewing areas, hot tubs, sun pads, shaded dining, bars, the usual super yacht toolkit, but stretched over a 123-meter platform. You can host serious parties up here. Think live music, catered food, lights reflecting off the water, tenders shuttling guests back and forth from shore. If you've ever wondered what a floating rooftop bar would look like, this is pretty much it. There's also a helipad, because of course there is. At this level, arriving by car and walking down a dock like everyone else is almost too normal. Instead, you fly in, descend onto the deck, the rotors spin down, and a steward hands you a drink before your shoes even touch teak. From my point of view, the appeal of Golden Odyssey isn't just that she's big. It's that she has enough volume to let different worlds exist at the same time. You can have a quiet spa day on one deck, a business meeting on another, and a full-on party up top. And nobody really collides unless you want them to. Key features, stats, and the feel of the ride. Let's pull together the big picture. Golden Odyssey is roughly 123 meters long, with an 18.8-meter beam, a draft just under 5 meters, and a gross tonnage of around 7,690 GT. She's spread over multiple decks with serious interior volume, built in steel and aluminum, and finished like a 5-star hotel. She can sleep about 30 guests in 15 cabins, cared for by around 70 crew, and she's powered by a diesel-electric setup that gives her a top speed near 20 knots and an ocean crossing range in the mid-thousands of nautical miles. On the lifestyle side, she offers a large beach club, huge lounging areas, spa-style wellness spaces, an owner's deck that might as well be its own apartment, and enough outdoor deck space to host events that feel like a private festival at sea. The design is confidential in a lot of ways. Owners at this level like their privacy. But everything we do know points toward classic, rich superyacht luxury rather than minimalist art gallery vibes. If you're into performance, she's not a speed freak, but that's not the point. At this size, the goal is to glide, not sprint. Golden Odyssey is built to move like a quiet, unstoppable cliff, slow, smooth, and absolutely dominant in any harbor she enters. The money. Purchase price versus annual burn. Now we get to the part that separates daydreams from reality. Money. Golden Odyssey is typically valued anywhere from the mid-hundreds of millions of dollars upward. Depending on which report you follow and whether you include her recent refit work, you'll see estimates in the ballpark of $150 to $300 million. That's skyscraper money for a single private asset that floats. But, as always in the super yacht world, the real monster isn't the build price. It's the annual burn. A standard rule of thumb at this level is that you'll spend around 10% of the yacht's value every year just to operate it. Apply that to Golden Odyssey, and you're talking about roughly $15 to maybe $25 million per year in running costs. That includes salaries for around 70 crew members, full-time maintenance on one of the most complex private ships afloat, insurance, docking fees, fuel, food, flowers, laundry, tenders, toys, electronics, refits, the endless list of small and big things that keep the experience seamless for guests. To make it more real, if you divide that yearly operating budget over the days you actually use the yacht, it's easy to end up in a place where a single day on Golden Odyssey effectively costs six figures in pure operating expense. Not what you paid to buy it, just what you pay to keep it alive and ready. That's the brutal number I teased at the beginning. It's not just the purchase price that knocks most people out of this game. It's the idea that every sunrise coffee on the aft deck comes with a 5- or 6-figure bill in the background. From secret status symbol to for sale. Golden Odyssey isn't just a rich person's toy. It's also a case study in what happens when the money side stops working. In recent years, the yacht has gone through legal and financial drama, including being arrested over unpaid debt and eventually sold at auction before landing back on the brokerage market. For a lot of people, that sounds insane. How does a yacht that huge, that private, end up in a courtroom? The answer is simple and complicated at the same time. At this level, yachts are often tied into larger financial structures, loans, mortgages, holding companies. When those structures crack, even a 123-meter superyacht can end up as an asset that has to be liquidated. To me, that's what makes Golden Odyssey so fascinating. She's both a symbol of peak luxury and a reminder that the physics of money always apply, no matter how big the boat gets. Your turn. Would you take the Golden Odyssey? Now I want to hear from you. If you somehow got invited on board Golden Odyssey for one full week, what would you do first? Would you start at the beach club, head straight to the owner's deck spa, take a helicopter ride just to see your own yacht from above, or wander through the decks until you lose track of where you are? Tell me in the comments what your first move would be and who you'd bring with you. I read what you write, and your ideas help decide which yachts, jets, mansions, and luxury toys we break down next. If this look inside Golden Odyssey gave you a new perspective on just how extreme these floating palaces really are, go ahead and tap the like button so YouTube knows you want more deep-dive luxury stories. And if you're new here and you love super yachts, private jets, mega mansions, and billionaire lifestyles, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload from Luxury Living Detective. If you want to go even deeper and support the channel at the same time, you can join the channel using the Join button and become part of our inner circle of luxury-obsessed viewers. And if this video made you dream bigger, or maybe laugh nervously at those yearly running costs, you can also use Super Thanks to directly support the channel and help us keep bringing you the wildest stories from the world of ultra-luxury. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, where we unlock another corner of the luxury universe that most people only ever see from a distance.